Alright, good morning guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back on the GQ build, building Australia's most turboist GQ, and in this episode, we're gonna get a few things done. We're trying hard to push to make sure we're getting weekly episodes. Now, I finally got my positive diagnosis of ADHD, so we're on the Dexies. I don't know if that means I'm gonna get more done or less done, but let's find out. Alright guys, I'm going to run through some AN lines and fittings. This is all good stuff from ProFlow, everything to do with fuel systems, anything that's oil lines, feeds, drains for the turbo, and all your little anodized fittings. I'm going to go through some tips and tricks and what we're using for this build. I have spoken about this before on the channel, so if you're not interested or you already know, skip a couple of minutes ahead. But for the people that don't, AN fittings are a performance fitting, so you don't want to be using rubber hoses and stuff on higher end builds because for a few different reasons. The main thing is like temperatures and pressures. So these are actually a PTFE like nylon insert with a braided stainless steel outer sheath. That helps with strength, any abrasion, things that hit them, also temperatures, and it keeps the stuff inside. So this is compatible with like E85 fuels, methanol, and all your fluids, any additive, any oil, power steering fluid, all of that kind of stuff. So it's a really one-stop shop for any type of hose and fitting on your car. So that's the hose side of things, but the fittings is where the magic happens. Now, AN fittings are basically an anodized aluminium, incredibly precision machine to the point where you can screw a fitting onto an end and no seal, no rubber, no join, pure precision machining makes it an absolute tight seal. You won't have any leaks. Just a quick nip up on there and she's good to go. And then the main thing, well, not the main thing, but a really good side effect is they look amazing as well. So if you do a full engine bay with nice black braided hoses and all your fittings, it's gonna look pretty gangster. Now they do a ton of different angles, like a 120 degree, a 90 degree, a 45, all sorts of different ends. Like, come and be on camera, my guy. All right, this is our Oz Post delivery driver. He's an absolute legend. He loves the cars, loves the dogs. Look at him, get a shot of that. Freaking Posty, mate. Dog sitter. So I've been trying to G him up to come drifting for ages because he frosts that stuff. What do you got for me? That was our legend, the Posty. He dropped off something pretty awesome. Actually, if he does come drifting, I'll put that clip right in here of him screaming his head off. But if he doesn't, too bad. Anyway, he dropped off this. We'll get into this in a minute. Mitch will probably show you through it, but it's an immobilizer, button start, alarm system, remote start, all in one. Pretty gangster because we don't have a key barrel for the GQ. So now it's like a freaking Ram or whatever. Bloody button start. Anyway, we'll get into that. All right, real quick before we go through it all and I start smacking all this into the car, you want to really make sure you do this stuff properly. Like if you have fuel lines and you don't correctly do them up, one blows, you got fuel squirting everywhere, causes a fire, all bad. So you want to make sure you do it properly. Do some research. There are instructions online, but a couple of quick little pointers for me. I'll run through it when we actually do it. I'll get some B-roll of doing it. Firstly, you get some AN spanners. They are designed to go on these and not make a mess and scratch and cross thread and all sorts. So they're properly for these fittings. I have some big jaws that I use to cut these, which gives it a real clean cut and stops it fraying. Mine are a little bit blunt at the moment, so I probably won't be using them anymore, but tape them up and use a grinder, but you get a little bit of fray. And the one big thing, when you use the fray, you don't want to have the fray end up in the join. So when you slide it on, you don't want it to grab the thread or it won't go on properly. It'll feel like it's going tight, but it won't actually do up on the olive and then it can blow off. Another thing that I learned the hard way, no good for power steering lines. You may think rated line, but they're rated to like 2,500 PSI, which is a ton, good for everything. But power steering lines, especially in a car with big tires, they load up a lot more than that. So get some proper ones made at Pertec or NZ or something. So no good for power steering. Yeah, man, that's why they're like $600 for this much of hose if you do that, because they are just next level hydraulic hoses. So no good for power steering, but everything else, we'll do it. Anyway, get some B-roll, we'll bang some of this in the car and then we'll show you some tips along the way.
I don't wanna keep playing with you, keep playing with you. I just wanna sustain with you, play no games with you. You're the apple in my eye. Every time make you leave, make me cry.
Alrighty, we've made one of the drain lines for the turbo and I'll quickly run you through the other one, how we do it. There's like, I don't know how many steps, 6 I reckon. Let's go. All right, step one, mark your hose. So send it down, figure out where the first fitting is gonna be, the second one is, and mark it. All right, step 2, banging a device. We've got some soft jaws here. I'm using a grinder. Be very slow cut and make sure you don't make it fray too much. Leave the tape on. We're at 3. All right, step 3, if you're using heat shield, now is the time to do it. We've got ProFlow's titanium heat shield. Just because it's going a little bit close to headers, you want to put that on before the fittings go on. All right, step 4, we're going to use the fittings, so decide which one you want to use. We've got a 90 for this particular hose. You want to start with this piece, bang that on first. Now you can actually put it over the heat shield to keep it all tidy looking. Then you want to remove the tape. Try and avoid it from fraying. Then bang your olive in there. Now this is where it can get a little bit critical. You want to make sure that you don't have the sheath inside the olive. It purely goes on the PTFE hose, I think it's called, PTFE. Then you want to make sure it's fully, so that's not fully seated. You want to make sure that the nylon's all the way to the end. You can give it a little push on the table if you want, so it's flush with the end. Then you don't want any little bit of nylon sticking out to the point where if you push this fitting in, it'll want to fold over, so you make sure it's pushed to the edges. And slowly just push that on, give it a twist, double check. Then you can go all the way on. You want to push it all the way to the end. Then this is another critical bit. Don't let any of the braid or that get onto your thread. You just pull that up. Get it started with your fingers. All right, step 5 is doing it up. So I've done it finger tight. You bang it in your soft jaws, and then you just use your AN spanner and nip it up. You don't want to go super tight, quite firm, but probably a mil from the end of the fitting. So you don't want to fully bottom it out, but you'll feel it starting to tighten up on that olive joint. So pretty tight, but not so much that you're going to snap the aluminium. It is aluminium thread. And step 6, final step, after you've done your other end as well, is double check on the car that all your angles are right. If you do need to change them, you can chuck it in the vise here. It's pretty easy with a 90. You just grab the end here and just quickly rotate it to the angle you want, and then your job's done. So heat shielded, AN fittings crimped, good to go. Like that one.
Oh no, please read the message. All of these years and how we built this some friendship. Meant to be, that's why it always feels on time. You'll forever be my purity, you're mine.
The next day.
All right guys, we're down at HyperFab. Today we're getting all of our pipe work, exhaust, and all that good stuff done. I'm gonna put this down now because it's really heavy. All right guys, if you don't know, Kaido and Max actually run HyperFab. Now they're a really sick shop down in Caboolture. They do lots of really nice fab work, and that's why we've gone to them. All right, today's objective, first things first, is to hook up that intercooler, maybe run some rad lines, then start mapping out where this exhaust is gonna go because they're really tight for space. So we're gonna get the boys on it, we'll get their plan, and then see where we're gonna move from here. All right guys, now we're here with the big brains of the operation. We're here with Max. You would have seen him before on one of our episodes, but now we are just brainstorming where the piping's gonna go, how it's gonna happen, and how Kaido's gonna have to struggle. What do you think, Max? How are we looking for space?
Well, Mitchy,
What do you think for our space?
I think she's pretty tight, but our job here is to make it super easy for Kaido. So, turbos are facing in at the moment. I think we're gonna rotate them outwards. Don't mind me, my sideball. We're gonna rotate them outwards. Looks like we'll have a bit more space just to fit the piping through around here. And that's pretty well as far as we've gotten so far, to be honest.
All right, so we've gone ahead and pulled the cooler. Turns out I did build the bar around the cooler, so the bar has to drop down to get the intercooler off. Insert clip of me catching it with my foot from the security cameras. But over here we've got Kaido, and he's going to do all of our welding for us today, because if you guys may have seen, he's an absolute wizard. You've been a bit MIA.
Have I? Why he's always saying I'm MIA? I've been working, mate.
Holy shit. Look at that. That's why we didn't want to...
Whole boost on us.
That's why we didn't want to do it, guys, because we can't do that. Alright guys, so we've gone down to HyperFab to see Max and Kaido, because they're two of probably the best fabbies that I know. And with welding aluminium, it's super particular to get it nice and beautiful looking, so that's why I've brought it down to the boys, to make this thing stand out from the rest. We're running 2.5 in and out, so we're just cutting the nose off that turbo as you guys seen, and we're cutting the ports out of the intercooler and boring them out so we can run the 2.5-inch pipe so we can run those special boost clamps.
Tremendously, my heart knows no remedy. I don't know no remedy.
Right, so Max and Kaido have done a killer job on getting these inlets sorted, and we're going to run those Wiggins clamps so we don't have to worry about silicone or pipes bursting off or any of that. So now we've just cut some holes in the rad support, and now we can run our pipes through.
So we have two turbos being fed into the intercooler. Obviously they come together to feed the engine. So we have one big dog pipe in the middle here, that's 4-inch. And we need to go all the way down and then tuck it into the bottom of the cooler. So we've just welded a little bit of straight so we can put a silicon onto it and a bead roll in there. We're gonna go straight down and then under the rad support at the bottom. That way the boost can kind of do this.
All right guys, it's quite late, but we're still going. Kaido's just doing up the final pipe for the intake out the bottom of the intercooler. I'll show you guys that once we've got it welded in. And then Max is still pulling his hair out, trying to get these hot sides done.
That is actually ridiculous. I think we might have nailed it. It is maybe 10 mil gap to the cross member, which is perfect. The drag link is going to miss it as it comes up, and it's in at the top perfectly and lines up at the bottom. Look at that, Kaito. That is hectic.
That looks so sick.
Pressure, yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up.
Oh, all right guys, massive first day is all done and dusted. Massive shout out to the boys from HyperFab. They've absolutely smashed this. I'm gonna come back in the morning. We're gonna finish off a couple little other things, and then yeah, we'll be able to take this thing home on the trailer in literally it's been 2 days. By tomorrow, it's been 1 day, but the boys have smashed it. They work hard, they're good at what they do. So we'll be back in the morning and keep going.
Tomorrow.
All right guys, good morning. We're back at the shed now. And today we're moving on to our gates and some of the stainless work and just throwing a couple sensors in that boost pipe. So first things first, we're going to grab our gates. Now these are from Go Fast Bits. We will be plumbing these back in for legal reasons, but we've still got to put them on the manifolds. So I'll show you guys where we're going to do that. So we're just going to drill a big hole in the manifold here, take this manifold off shortly, clean it all out, and then we can weld in our gates there, and they'll follow along with the exhaust pipe and plumb back in about there.
Can we say shit?
Yeah. You can say anything. What are you doing?
Well, so twin gates, we are putting them on the collectors of the manifolds so that we get nice flow to the gates. And Mitch has just cut a nice hole there. I think you might have seen that. So we've notched the pipe so it sits in that groove. We're just going to cut these to the right height, weld the V-bands on for the gates, and they'll sit essentially like that. And that'll make it nice and easy to plumb into the rest of the exhaust here. So we'll have a little flexi on there, and then we'll plumb it into the exhaust in a nice streamlined kind of fashion so that it all flows.
Will you plumb it into the exhaust?
I may or may not plumb it in the exhaust.
Please comment down below and ask Max through the exhaust, guys. I'd appreciate it. Alright, so now it's time for stainless. The boys have changed the setup and then notched these out perfectly. We've ripped in a hole saw and now we're getting the gates sorted out. Rightio, gates are on. Gates and turbos are now fitted on one side. We've pretty much done here. So this is all the boys can get done this trip round. We're gonna do the other side, finish that off, and then we'll take it home. Probably start doing the radiator piping, the servo maybe, and then when we go to put it on the road, we'll come back here for an exhaust if Max is really good to me. So make sure you comment down below. We need HyperFab. Oh, this exhaust will be a headache otherwise. So yeah, that's him. And next thing you'll see, I'll be throwing the other side in, and we're nearly done. So it's looking good. All right guys, so we've got this side gate on, this side turbo all hooked up. Kaito's still smashing out the other one, but we're gonna go grab some lunch really quick, and I'm gonna take yous with you. I'm gonna take yous with us because I've got something quite cool to show you. All right guys, so you probably have seen Max's car kicking around on other people's channels or even on his Instagram. It's this really cool 100 series.
105.
It's a 105.
I'll give you that one.
He's done an FTE swap in it, and he's done something recently that you're the first one to do it, eh?
Yeah, apparently. Never been done, not that I could find anyway.
Never been done. Gearbox conversion. And I can tell you what, it is blown my mind. So let's get in and go for a run for lunch, and I'll show you guys how cool it is. All right, so straight away something catches my eye, and that's this.
Yes.
And what gearbox have you got in here?
So, don't look too closely. This is still in the R&D phase, so we're getting nice rounds and stuff made. But this gearbox is actually out of a 200 series Land Cruiser. So the 200s with the V8s, the diesels, came with the AB60F transmission. That's a six-speed automatic transmission. And yeah, they're a rock solid transmission. They make 400, 450 horsepower behind the 200s, and they hold together. They're awesome.
Yeah, it's like a gearbox that's actually made for four-wheel drives, obviously,
Yeah.
being made for it, so it's going to work.
Like, they come out of cars that are 3.5 ton, they tow 3.5 ton. We know they can handle the power, not out of station wagons. And the Toyota, like, being able to get a Toyota box behind a Toyota engine and keep your whole driveline Toyota, and it's something you can get parts for very easily anywhere in Australia.
So he's also got paddle shifts fully hooked up and operational behind this box when it's in sports mode. So he has the normal auto and drive, knocks it across to sport, and can even use a paddle, which, that's a Camry wheel, yeah?
Yeah, so 2016 Camry wheel, Camry Sport, I think, they have the paddles. And we played around a bit because we had the paddles there and we're like, this would be sick if we could actually use them to shift the auto. So a bit of messing around, clock spring from a later model car that has a lot more wires, you can actually pass through the wheel. And with that, it's allowed us to hook the paddles up to the auto. So like, we're in first, hit the paddle, second, driving along, hit the paddle, third, hit the paddle, might not go in the fourth. Yeah, there we go.
Yep, happy days.
Yeah.
That's so sick. So you're stuck with the Toyota wheel, Toyota motor conversion, and Toyota box. I think that's mad. I don't know how he's done it, to be honest. Go hit up Max from HyperFab, and he will definitely get one of these in your car. If you guys want an FTE with a reliable auto that can hold power, this is your guy. He is gone! Holy shit! Hey!
Here we are, we're back. I'm coming. This is our third take at me walking in. All right, I'm in the shed, all right? The boys have been going hard with this. Mitch sent me a little photo earlier and it looks badass. So like, the whole point of this build is symmetry, which they've nailed. There's probably easier ways to just plumb this as is, but the whole point is to keep it symmetrical, so they've done an awesome job. Like, these little profile adapters give it a little bit of movement still, which is good. So if anything, obviously engines move. Rubber joiner there. Some people are gonna say it's all rigid, but yeah, I reckon we've done a great job. The boys have. I didn't do shit. They've done a great job. So now the hard job is exhaust. So with the plumbing side done, the intercooler side, that's all your air. Then the exhaust side is, yeah, the next big mission. So
You mean out the bonnet?
all that.
For now. For now, we're going out the bonnet.
But we are plumbing back the screamers. Everything's gonna be legit. Like I said, we're making this a legal build. So the illegal versions, like 37 screamers, bonnets, whatever, for shows, events, whatever we do on track. And then on the street, all plumbed back in, full legit, mint. Killed it, let's load her up, eh? Guys, fun fact, if you have a BMW X5 car and a trailer with a winch with no battery, your battery in the Beamer is in the boot and you can power your winch right from there. I've also lost the control box and everything, so it's fully just hardwired and you just hold it. How good's that? It's not locked in.